right, you want to go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's the last one. It is going to be in theaters everywhere on 348-1007.
Welcome back.
Local DJ and all-around female orgasm denier, Alan Cox.
This is the Alan Cox Show
on 100.7 WMMS.
It's like people out here in the window waving me down, trying to ask me to let them in the building. Barking up the wrong tree. I'll just tell you. 35192 if you want to send a text. If you want to watch the show live, you go to alancoxshow.com. And you'll find, what's that?
Go ahead and say what you're going to say, and then I'll tell
I
you
was
some
just
of the
gonna,
new stuff we're doing.
I was just going to give you a heads up that you can thank Medium Herb for helping out in the video department today.
That Medium Herb is way better tempered.
You want to talk about Little Herb?
Than Little Herb. Yeah, I want to talk about Little Herb, but I also
Yeah.
want to talk about something that I'm trying with the live stream. So when the show ends today, I'm going to put all of the segments together and run that. And nobody probably cares about this, but you'll see that the channel's live pretty much 24 hours a day.
Okay.
So there'll be like a clipped down version of the show that will have, no commercials or anything like that. And you just go and put it on a loop. So if you want something on the background, this will be perfect for that. So
You could conceivably come in mid-show and then it would just start over again? Is that what's...
It's just going to be on a loop. There's going to be no DVR function. It's just going to be a loop, like playing it kind of like remember when we had the 24/7 channel audio?
Yes.
It's going to be like that.
Good.
So
I like it.
Yeah. So we're going to have that going starting today.
Like if somebody wanted to fall asleep to our collectively dulcet
Yes.
tones, they could put on AlanCoxShow.com on YouTube,
Yeah.
The Alan Cox Show on YouTube,
Right. And it'll
and just let it roll.
it'll be labeled the replay. So
Okay.
for this day's show, and then I'll try to do that every day. It takes a bit of time, so I'm not always going to be able to do it, but I'm going to do it as much as I can, because I think, especially when, for weekends and days that we're not doing the show, I want something running on the channel. So
I agree.
I think that's good to have.
It was a few months ago that I filmed two guys right in front of our
Yes.
studio window here fighting. I don't know what, it got like 15,000 views or wherever. I
Okay, way
posted it.
more than that.
Did it?
Yeah, I think on YouTube, because I think I put it on the Alan Cox Show YouTube and my YouTube, and between the two
TikTok
of them,
and the whole thing, yeah.
TikTok. I think it got taken down off of TikTok because of
It was
the
fighting. Yeah.
But collectively, it probably got 100,000 to 200,000 views.
So
Like,
these
it was a
two
lot.
guys, I'm in here putting the show together. It was earlier in the morning, and these two guys are walking by, and I can't tell what they're arguing about, but they're clearly arguing. It's a big, tall guy, and then a smaller guy, and they get into it, and the guy loses his beer or whatever, the big, tall guy. And the tall guy, we find out, calls himself Little Herb, and he called the show. I don't know. I don't think it was that day, but he called maybe later that week, and he was really pleading his case about how it was hard to kind of follow along, but he was trying to let everybody know that that's not normally his thing. Doesn't like to fight. He's a peaceful man. He just lives downtown, but he certainly had a lot of issues with the way things are downtown. To hear him tell it, everywhere you go, there's a ne'er-do-well lurking around a corner that just can't help but pulling. Trouble finds him, is how he was kind of, and wherever he lives downtown, I don't know where, but Little Herb walks by our window with some regularity. He'll walk by in the morning if I'm in here, and we'll wave, and he'll keep walking. He walked by while we were on the air yesterday, and he's a big guy.
He's really big.
So anyway, Bill was across the street today.
Yeah, I was walking back from Heinen's, picking up some lunch
On the
over
east
there.
side?
Yeah, over there on the east side on East 9th. And as I'm walking by, I noticed that there are a lot of police officers over there by the PNC Bank building. And then there's a dude sitting on the ledge, and I recognize the hat that he's been rocking lately. It's just kind of like a little fedora type thing not quite a fedora, but it's a nice looking hat, honestly.
Usually has like a Tamo sheen.
Yeah,
or
but
something.
today's one got the full brim all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Very fancy. And I'm like, oh, that's a little Herb. He's there. And he's just screaming and yelling. And
you get at him mid-scream.
yeah, he's pointing at this other guy. And this other guy's like, hey, he came after me.
Are you across the street or
No,
are
I'm
you in that
walking
PNC Plaza?
I am walking right past him in that PNC Plaza.
Gotcha.
And it's like right at the edge of the PNC Plaza, like right in the like sidewalk. So there's a lot of people walking by.
Oh, so he's not like just outside their lobby or something.
No, he's sitting on one of those ledges that are similar to the ones right across the street here. So he's screaming and yelling, and they're trying to calm him down a little bit. And so he's starting to calm down. I just walk by, and then I like turn around. I'm like, maybe I should hang out. But it seems like they have everything pretty under control, and it's gonna not be a big deal. But there were about 6 or 8 police officers over there when I was there. And then
they have to get the odds in their favor.
Yeah.
He's a big dude.
He's a big dude.
He's got some wingspan on him.
Yeah. And
Even if you want to cast yourself as a gentle giant, you don't want things to go sideways with a dude like that.
Yeah. So then I get back into the building and I find Rob Anthony. I'm like, hey, remember Little Herb? Well, he's getting into trouble over here across the street. And I heard the branch manager from PNC say that he was causing problems yesterday. So I don't know if this guy has meds that he's not taking, and that plays into how aggressive he is. But it seems like he, can get a little, like a switch gets flipped with him, and he cannot be calmed down. So me and Rob are watching through this window here with our faces pretty much pressed up against the glass because it's kind of a strange angle.
Right.
And every once in a while, we'll see his arm shoot up into the air, and then Rob sees him stand up, and one of the cops like pushes him right back down, and then he stands up again, and a cop pushes him back down.
He's in full Hulk smash mode.
Yeah. And then you see his arms going crazy, and he's swinging his hat around, and he's screaming at people, and he gets up and like starts going at the cops, and they like push him down, and then they cuff him. You see him fighting him off as they're trying to cuff him.
Well, he really didn't want to get taken down.
Yeah, and he's such a big dude that they couldn't even put him in one of the patrol cars that they had over there. They had to bring an ambulance and escort him to
strap him down.
Yeah. I don't know if they were taking him to a psychiatric hold or if he got arrested. I imagine he got arrested because he was not being kind to these police officers. And the whole time we're just like, well, if he was black, he'd be in so much more trouble right now. But
we've all seen countless videos of about a dozen cops taking on some like teenage kid.
Yeah.
Little Herb is a guy who warrants more than a few guys coming over to try to subdue him.
And they were being very generous with their
they would have bashed his brains in if he'd been
So he's just going nuts, and they finally get him cuffed, and then when they had him cuffed, he tried to make a run for it. So then they had to tackle him. They were trying to get him onto a stretcher. Like it was just, and then you finally see.
This is at lunchtime.
Yeah. And then you finally see the whole back of that ambulance over there just go down because they finally got him back there. And like just the size of him.
Full of Herb.
And all the cops that were escorting him just weighed the whole back of that ambulance down. And it was a sight to behold. And you know what? If it was just a fair fight and like just let him go, my money's on Herb. Herb's got some big old hands, and he throws them with ferocity.
Well, because the video that we posted of him and that other guy, it was almost like he wasn't making any moves.
Yeah.
Because it was a much smaller guy who took Herb down. And so you couldn't tell. I mean, he was carrying a case of beer. You couldn't tell if he was already half in the bag or what was going on.
Trying to not get in a fight that day.
Trying, yeah, which kind of tells you he's a guy that has been scooped up a handful of times before and doesn't want to be again. Yeah. So I would assume we're not going to see him walk by for a few days.
Yeah.
But I hope he's okay.
I hope he's okay, too. And I hope...
he'll call the show every so often and plead his case. And so selfishly, I really want to hear his
side of the story.
Yeah, his
me too.
Synopsis of what happened today.
But, I mean, he was telling us that day when we were talking to him on the phone that he's a guy that he doesn't want to get into fights. He doesn't want to cause problems, but he just seems to say things that rub people the wrong way and get them into situations where they're gonna get physical. And I
wonder what started that whole Donnybrook over there.
I saw a guy that I think he was yelling at, a black guy. It always seems to be him getting into it with a black guy. So I don't know. I don't know exactly all the details of it, but it's the allegory of Little Herb.
This is what we were promised when we came downtown.
Well, the whole time I was like, hey, guys.
Now, I didn't think it was going to be the same guy over and over again, but,
Like, officers, can you move the fight over in front of the window so we have a better vantage point? Or at least a little further down the street so we can see better?
Guys, I'm a taxpayer.
Yeah.
Could you frame it properly for me? I know there's a line of automobiles here. I know you don't want any property damage, and that's a big, wide-open plaza out there in front of the PNC building. A lot of room to run around, a lot of room to move around. But, yeah, Little Herb, in trouble again. I hope he's okay. I mean,
everybody else is okay, too, because he was
the very first time
haymakers.
The very first time that he made himself known to us down here, he was trying to get in, like, management had to tell him to get lost because he was trying to, like, get in the building to come and sit in here and talk to us. I'm like, no. I'm not going, I don't know you. I'm not going down that road. But from the times that he's walked by the studio window here, he's always seemed very, to coin a Poundcakeism, docile when he was walking by.
People are looking for the video from the fight. I have it titled Cleveland Rocks.
I mean, it's still on my Instagram, I think.
Yeah, it's on Instagram. It's on
Alan Cox Show. It's in there somewhere.
I'll tweet it out.
You'll find it.
I put it on my Twitter just now. Cleveland Rocks.
The Cavaliers need to win tomorrow night, or they are done. So you will hear it on, I don't know if you'll hear it here or not. TAM runs those Cavs games. We run the Guardians games, but the Guardians game tomorrow is going to be an afternooner. And Game 5 is going to be 7 o'clock tomorrow night. I'll have to check the scheduling on that. But I'm not getting the impression from the guys on the Knicks that they're worried about a repeat of 2016 with this group of Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell really crapped the bed. Now, the guy that we sent away for Donovan Mitchell, and it was still a really good move, is a kid named Lauri Markkanen, who's from Finland. I had him on the Bulls for a while, and he was okay. He kind of flopped around. Then he came to Cleveland. He flopped around some more. And then they traded Donovan Mitchell they sent him to the Utah Jazz, and he just won the Most Improved Player award.
Yeah, he had a great season.
Great season. He finally kicked it into gear when he stopped playing for my A and B teams, and I take that as a personal affront.
Well, I think the reason he was able to perform so well with Utah is because he was the main guy. So when he was with the Bulls, there was other guys that were kind of the main guys. Same with Cleveland. So
when you're in Utah,
the
fan base is never going to cling harder than to a 7-foot guy from Finland. They love that
There's
guy.
Something about this guy we like.
We can't put our fingers on it, but he is back home in Finland, by the way. It doesn't matter if you're a celebrity or whatever in these other countries. You got to go back and do your mandatory military service.
Yeah.
So Lauri Markkanen is back home in Finland finishing his mandatory military service. We don't do that here. Guys find all kinds of reasons to get out of, it's not mandated anymore, but these are much smaller countries. So there's still a degree of conscription that happens. But Lauri Markkanen, who was drafted initially by the Chicago Bulls and then came here to Cleveland, is just killing it now. Whereas Donovan Mitchell, it's kind of like we're in a Twilight Zone situation right now at the worst possible time. So anyway, the Cavs have no choice but to kick it into high gear tomorrow night.
Let's make some history.
It's back here at home. I think that that New York crowd was getting in these dudes' heads. And so bringing them back home might keep them hanging on by their fingernails. But they have to win tomorrow night. So that's 7 o'clock, Cavs-Knicks.
A truly must-win game for the Cavs.
A truly, truly must-win game. That's right. If there ever was one, it's tomorrow night. I've got some, let me give you some food news here very quickly. From the We Can't Have Fun Things file. New research suggests that French fries might be linked to depression. I mean, that's clickbait because obviously a lot of fried foods in general are not good for you. Anything that's greasy and starchy and, it tells your brain that you're having a great time. But insofar as what it does to your body, not great. And they said especially French fries can be linked to having a negative impact on your mental health. Now, it runs completely counter. Listen, you all know me. I'm not a traditional guy when it comes to food. There's a lot of things that people love that I don't care for. I don't care for rich foods. I don't care for sauces and creams and things like that, right? I don't know if I have a refined palate because I just don't eat in a very sumptuous way. Some people love food. They love the experience of it.
Caviar.
They love it, but I don't. What?
You eat millionaire food with your little caviar and escargot.
I don't eat caviar. No.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I've eaten around the world, right? I've had escargot in Corsica. And that's good stuff. And maybe it's a mental thing in other countries. It doesn't taste as rich. Maybe it's just how those things are prepared here. So I don't eat a lot of things that other people eat. But goddamn, French fries are good.
French fries are
great. I don't eat a lot of fried foods at all. But French fries, and I don't even eat those on a regular basis. But like if I'm somewhere that is like, oh, you got to try our fries, or what, I'm like, okay, I'll have a couple, but boy, are they good.
From your experience traveling to other countries, have you had French fries in other countries?
Yeah, listen.
Do you think
France is like Pittsburgh? They give you French fries. Frites come with everything. Yeah.
Do you what country prepares them the best? U.S., France, or wherever else?
Well, they're mass produced here. I mean, you go overseas and there's like a restaurant that's making them. I know there are places over here. They're like, these are our house cut fries, and that basically means that they take them frozen out of a bag and they cut one of them and they go, all right, we lived up to our. I don't know.
Okay, I just didn't know if one was like superior than the other.
I think it's hard. I think it's really hard to screw up French fries. There are places that manage to do it.
Well, I'm just saying, Jamaica's known for their jerk chicken because I imagine they probably have the best jerk chicken in the world because that's what they're known for.
And they're jerks.
And if I had superior jerk chicken at KFC, I might have a problem with it. But
again, that's also a mental thing too. It's like, oh my God, I'm in Jamaica. This jerk chicken is the best I've ever had. It's just jerk spices. There's a place right next door to us called You Jerk that makes awesome food, right?
Yeah.
Right next door to us. It's great. It's like people go, you've never had Mexican food till you've had it in California. Yes, I have. People know how to make tacos, dummy. It's not that, so part of it is like psychosomatic when you're in another country and you go, oh my God, this is amazing. So insofar as like jerk food or fried food, everybody can fry food.
I think I'm a bad black because I hadn't even had jerk chicken really before I went to.
But you're a helpful brown.
I'm a helpful brown, yeah.
He's a bad black / helpful brown.
Yeah, I had never really had jerk chicken from what I can remember.
But I always think of it in terms of you should have the food that is largely indigenous to that region rather than stuff that's replicated here. Like if you go to Jamaica, you have the ackee, you have the codfish. They'll make you curry goat stew. That'll change your life. Again, these are things that over here, if you went to a place and saw curry goat stew on the menu, you probably would not have it.
You think twice, yeah.
You wouldn't have oxtail or, So anybody can make French fries. Anybody can make pizza, things like that.
Well,
it will obviously be better in different parts of the world.
Everyone can screw up pizza, too.
Oh, I know. Plenty of places around here that try really hard to do that. But if French fries are going to cause depression in people, come on, man.
I don't want to live in this world.
Nobody wants to live in that world. And it's worth considering that maybe, listen, we read a lot about how important mental health is. Is it really that important if you can't have French fries? I mean, is it really, really that important?
I'd be depressed if I wasn't eating French
That's
fries.
right. There's your food news. Okay, I got that. I'll have another $1,000 for you, courtesy of the Buzzard Bookie at 3:30. So listen for that keyword. If you want to go see Flogging Molly, they have set a tour date here in Cleveland for this summer. I'll get you set up with a pair of tickets for that on the way back.
It's the Alan Cox Show.
On our free iHeartRadio app and your favorite smart device. Just tell it to play the Alan Cox